Okay, so in this video we are going to see what is the data structures. So data structure is actually the combination of data and the structures. So data structure is a particular way of organizing the data in a computer so that it can be accessed and modified efficiently. So what does it mean? It means you are going to store the data inside the computer and you want to store it in a particular structure so that you can access it and modify it into an efficient way. Okay, so let's say we are having a data structure and if the data structure is there, so there is some data and you are going to define some structure so that you can store it inside the memory, right? So you are doing two things. First is the data declarations, means you are defining the way the data will be stored or declared, right? Means how you can actually create that particular structure. For example, if you are going to build a home, you must know how you can design that home, right? The same way, if you are going to create a structure for the data, you must know how to declare, how you can actually structure that. So that is what we call the data declaration. Second thing is the operations, what operations you can perform. So data structure is not just how you are going to store the data, in what structure you are going to store the data, but also what operations you can perform on particular data structure. Okay, so there are two types of operations. First is the main operations and second is the auxiliary operations. So let's see this one by one. First is the data declaration. As I said, you must know how can you build that particular structure. So let's say if I take one example, stack is a data structure. Okay, there are different data structures. So first is a stack will provide you the mechanism how you can store the data inside the memory. Okay, so what it does is it says if there is this pile of the books, right? So how you can build this particular structure? You will place one book there and then place another on the top of the first book and then keep on putting the books one on another, right? So this is a structure, right? Simply, so this is how you can store the data. First element is saved here and then you put one more element, then keep on adding the data, right? Keep on adding the elements, right? So this particular pile of book is actually a structure. This is how you are storing this pile of the book on your table, right? So now I think you understand what is the stack is actually when you store the data in the manner of this pile of the book, right? So we will study deep into the stack in upcoming videos. So what I was talking about was data declaration. Means here you are defining how you can create a stack, right? Data declaration means how you can create the stack and it uses a LIFO mechanism. What does it mean? Means LIFO means, as you can see, when I put these books in a pile or in a stack, I just simply put one book and then another and another and keep on adding the books. This is the last book I put, right? And then when I'm going to take any book, what will I do? I will take this book first, then another and another, and then I will keep on finding until I find the exact book I was looking for, right? So here last in first out means I put this one book, this light green, last, and when I'm going to search or I'm going to pick the book, let's say I wanted to read all these books and whatever is on the top of this pile, I'm going to pick that one book and then start reading, right? So last in first out means this is the last book I put here and then I'm going to pick this book first, right? So this is how the stack works. This is the only way you can store the data into the stack. So this is what we call the data declaration, right? Another thing is operations. What operations are going to be there? There are two type of operations. First is the main operation, second is the auxiliary operations. Main operations are the basic operations you are going to perform on a particular data structure. For example, if I'm talking about the stack, means I'm going to create the stack, I'm going to push elements onto the stack, popping element from the stack, finding current top of the stack, and finding number of elements in the stack. And now I think you can understand from the example of a pile of the books. You are going to create the stack, push book onto the stack, and pop means you are going to take that or delete particular element or the book from the stack, and you want to find out what is on the top of the stack, means what book is there on the top of the stack, and then finding the number of elements, or you can say number of books are there into the stack. These are the basic operations. And then there are some advanced operations, auxiliary operations. Here I'm going to talk about the computer science only, means the data we are going to work inside the computer, right? So auxiliary operations are finding the square root of last element of the linked list, finding the middle node of the linked list, and so on. Means these are actually, linked list is a different type of data structure. We will talk about that later. But these these kind of operations are bit complex. These are simpler and which are basic, but these are bit complex. So there are different types of operations. When I'm going to talk about any data structure, let's say stack or linked list, there are two things. First is the declaration, how I'm going to structure it. Second is the operation, what operations are allowed on that particular data structure, right?